Previous video we looked into Python strings. In this video we're going to be covering booleans in Python. So basically a boolean is a data type that can have one of two possible values. We can either have true or false, and these values are basically used to represent the truth values of an expression, and it's essential to control the flow and the logical operations in our code. Booleans in Python are often as a result of comparisons or logical operations. I'll show some examples right away. So let's assume we have is raining set to false. Of course, it's pretty straightforward to understand what this should do. It means if we simply say print is raining, the expectation at this point in time should be false, right? If we have is raining set to true, then of course we get true. Let's try to use this in a more realistic example. Basically we have a user called John. So let's say we have a user called John. This is a string, of course, and we're simply trying to check if let's say John is trying to actually go on a trip, and John wants to check if it's raining outside. So right now I'm going to make some change here. I would say it's raining outside. Set this to true. So I can simply say if it's raining outside, let's perform an operation. So basically this is the point where we get to make the decision based on the results gotten from it's raining outside. So we can simply say print wait at home for a bit, and of course we can also have else. So we can actually say else go out for shopping. All right, so that's a quick example. Of course, we are yet to cover conditional statements, which is what we have here. This is an if conditional statement. We'll get to cover this in a later video, but just to drop a quick comment. All right, so there we go. This is a quick example. So we said we can actually use the Boolean statement for comparison or logical operations. So let's check out how we can apply this to instances where we want to perform comparison. So I'm going to have a new set of code block here. We have A to equal 5. We have B equals 10. So I can simply say print. Now let's print the value of A when compared to B. So we're trying to see if this actually equates to, if the value of B actually equates to A, right? And we can also try out something else. So let's say print if the value of A is less than B. So at this point in time we're going to be getting either a truthy response or a falsy response. Let's go ahead and run the code. We'll simply execute python3 main.py. Right now you see the first answer here is false, because of course 5 is not equals 10. In the second one we have true, because of course A, which is 5, is less than B, which is 10. All right, so that is an example of Boolean using a comparison instance. Let's try out the next example, which is applying logical operations. All right, so let's drop our comments. Okay, this time around we're going to say A equals true. We're going to say B equals false. All right, so let's go ahead and print A and B. All right, so this is a logical operator, and in Python we have the logical and we have the logical or, right? So what we are doing here, A and B is expected to give us either true or false, and of course Python would let us know what the result is. We also have the logical not, by the way, so we can say not. We're going to try out an example, and yeah, we can simply say not A or not B. So if you have the value of A set to true, when it's not A, it means you're expecting to have false. If you have B set to false, just like the example we have here, when we say not B, you expect to have true, right? And in this position simply equates to a product, right? And or simply, I mean, looking at the logical table. If you have heard of the truth table, this is something you can check out. The truth table. Sorry, truth table. The truth table would basically cover that some other time. The example we have now, if I also try or, and then we have print not a, for example. Remember I said not a, which is true, gives us false. We have a. This is similar to the pipe sign here, like this. If you've tried this in some other languages, right, this is your equivalent for the or in Python, and in other languages as well. This is your equivalent for the logical and. Of course, Python is English-like, so the syntax is quite different and a bit, I would say, easier. So looking at the example, we can go ahead and run this. You see we have, by the way, we can comment this. We can comment or probably take this off. Okay, let's save and run this again. So you see we have false, right? Because you're basically looking at it this way. When you have true can be represented as 1. When you have false, this can be represented as 0. If you have 1 and 0, which is more like a product, of course you expect to have false, right? 1 multiplied by 0, you get 0, which is false. We look at the second example. You have 1, and this time around it's or, right? So you have 1 or 0, and of course you expect to have 0, right? Not a, when a is equivalent to 1, so not a gives you 0, which is false, and that gives us the result here: false, true, and false. All right, so speaking of truthiness, in Python, any object can be tested for truth values for use in an if or while condition, or as an operand for the Boolean operations that is being worked on. So, for example, speaking about the truthy values, everything else, including non-zero numbers or non-empty sequences or even collections, can be regarded as objects with a truth value, right? For falsy values, you have 0 or any empty sequences or collections. These are basically referred to as falsy values. So let's check this out. We have the truthy and the falsy values. For the falsy values, let's start off with that. We have the following. So basically you have none, for example, an empty string like this. You have an empty tuple object, or an empty list, or even an empty dictionary. These are basically falsy values. And for the truthy values, everything else, including non-zero numbers, non-empty sequence or collections, is regarded as true. So if you have like num1 equals 1, this is true already. If it's 0, this is false. If it's none, this is false. If it's an empty list or set, it's an empty set or dictionary or an empty tuple or just an empty string, these are set to falsy values. All right, so I hope that's clear. We've covered a couple of scenarios when working with booleans. We'll try out more practical examples when we start working on actual projects. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.